What's up?
Look at all these people!
Yeah, it's a full group.
This is so many more than like 2 forecasts ago when there was like 4 awkwardly separated across the entirety of this screen.
I don't like being
And I
placed in the
pointed in
middle.
every wrong direction.
It was
a good
freaking
time.
awkward. It was so awkward. Shove those together. Get them together. Get them in the middle. Just...
It was like an artistic design, guys. It was our art choice.
That's not artistic.
Ah.
It's
I don't know.
like social distancing in a digital form.
A couple people were quarantining on the left-hand side of the screen.
Yeah, they're like yeah. So I was playing. Pandemic.
Exactly. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Forecast episode 156. The Forecast is a bi-weekly podcast streamed on Thursdays and released on YouTube and podcast on Fridays. We are a community of people who love exploring and discussing all kinds of things from video games and board games to film and TV to our everyday life experiences. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us at facebook.com/TheHorizonFB, or you can come hang out on our Discord channel, or you can check out our website, WeAreTheHorizon.com. We have a bunch of original content for you to browse through there, including our multi-arc Starfinder adventure, the Discord and Signal. Woohoo! Additionally, everything we talk about is in our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. I am Aaron, joined by a whole bunch of additional peeps. Caleb.
That's me.
Jake.
Hey, yo, what up?
Owen.
Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Cheeseburger Chad.
Pizza.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell. It's
It's
Alex.
a pizza chat.
Hey, what's up?
And Frankie.
What's wiggity up?
All right, off the top. You know what I was thinking today? I read this interesting article from The Guardian about
you read something?
Yes, yeah, I mean, it's rare. But I decided I should sit down and at least read a few words.
Okay.
And this article is published by Guardian, and they were talking about a study from Oxford, which I find interesting, published today. They looked at 40,000 gamers over the period of 6 weeks, and then took polls about their mental stability and well-being.
Are you just following my Twitter?
No,
I talked
I'm not
about
following
this earlier.
Did you talk about this earlier?
Yeah, I tweeted about this. I know
Oh, and
exactly
I'm not
what you're
on
talking
Twitter.
about for once.
Yeah, I think you're alone on Twitter.
I'm not on tweeters, Owen. I'm sorry. Importantly,
tweeters.
I think this is interesting because they quote, where is it at? With 40,000 observations across 6 weeks, we really gave increases and decreases. Wow, I cannot speak. Really gave increases and decreases in video game play a fair chance to predict emotional states and life satisfaction. And we didn't find evidence for that. We found evidence that it's not true in practically any significant way, which I think is rather interesting. So, play more video games, people. That's what I am reading from this article.
I mean, yeah.
I got from it, just do what you want.
That too. It does say, the link does break down at extreme levels. For instance, there is a significant effect if a player increases their playtime by 10 hours a day above what is typical. Which
What is typical?
That's
what
a
is
lot.
typical
it's what is typical for that person, not like what is typical.
overall?
So if you were-
So your
Yeah, it's
typical
like-
is 12 hours a day, and then you increase it 10 more hours.
Yeah, to maybe
That's
like
bad.
Yeah, I mean,
4
when we do the
hours.
24-hour stream, yeah, I mean, most of us
That-
are pretty irritable by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very.
I saw somewhere someone was saying like video games is fine, but just don't do it excessively. It's like like everything.
Yeah.
Everything in
You can
moderation.
drown yourself with water if you drink it excessively. Like, I also just it boggles my mind when people who are sitting there binge watching Netflix are like, you're just wasting your time playing video games. It's like, bro, you're just sitting there like a vegetable on a couch, just not even really critically thinking. We're over
actively
here
engaging
making
my
decisions.
mind.
It's a decision-making process. It's not, I mean, granted, you're engrossed in a story either way, typically, but you're also way more involved in the story if you're having to do something mechanically to make sure that your character's progressing or whatever you're doing in the game you're playing.
The only thing that's different between the media, like television and movie industry, the main difference there between that and the video game industry is the lack of creative bankruptcy.
Some both.
There's a lot of pretty good video games out there that you're like, that's hey, good for you. A lot of TV shows coming out these days. It's like,
I mean, there's a lot of crap on Steam too.
Oh
Yeah,
it cuts both
yeah.
ways.
Yeah,
I was gonna say there's the like plethora of hentai games that none of us play.
But
So
I just want you to think back to this year, how many games that have come out that everyone's been like wild about. You know, talking about it at work, you meeting strangers out in the street, people talking about it, versus the amount of movies that have come out this year
I don't
that
talk to
everyone's
anybody.
been like, what?
Alex just hides.
So none on either side.
All right, well, we got to exclude Alex from this survey because that's going to give us a really biased result.
It's gonna be real skewed. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very skewed, very skewed.
I mean, you got to have both ends of it.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting notes is that the players were asked to report, these 40,000 people who were in the study, were asked to report on things such as autonomy, competence, and intrinsic motivation.
All right. Whatever.
Intrinsic
motivation.
Like while they're playing the games, I don't understand.
I think it's supposed to be after they're done. Like, what is their... They set things down. They go back to their whatever they're doing outside of their video game life. Are you able to function autonomously? Do you feel competent at what you're doing outside of playing video games? And are you intrinsically motivated by something other than just sitting in front of a TV or a screen and playing games?
So
No.
on a similar wavelength, I was reading a study that was done, and they were talking about how like video games were bad because people were less motivated to switch jobs or to get promoted in their own job, and like the entire article was saying how this was a bad thing, and I was like sitting there and I was like, but couldn't it also be a good thing because people are probably realizing that maybe they're good at this game or they like this game or they're identifying with it rather than identifying themselves with their position and title, and so their self-worth and value isn't tied to how much money I'm making anymore, but to something else, whether like, you know, what rank I am in Overwatch or you know, like whatever the fuck the thing that might
the
be.
leaderboard's on neon white.
Yeah, that somebody is obsessed with. So I was like, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you're just changing, you know, your point of view from you know, more capitalistic need to maybe something that's a little bit different. And I think that's the same thing with your intrinsic need that you were talking about. Is like, yeah, you might not have as much intrinsic needs as you would because you're starting to find value in things that aren't just money and buying shit.
I feel like that falls in the category of like everybody has a position on something when it comes to a study. You know, if you read studies about coffee, it's like coffee's good for your heart, it's bad for your heart. Coffee's good for your stamina, it's bad for your stamina. It's literally, you can find a study for like a counterpoint on every single thing that it would tell you that coffee's good for. There is a counterpoint study that says it's bad for you as well.
Is there a counterpoint out there for coffee that says coffee does not help you poop?
I'm certain there is.
I think it's only supposed to affect a certain percentage of people.
Who are those people?
Wait, which people? You're talking about the people that it does help to poop or the people that it doesn't help to poop?
No, because I feel like the people that it doesn't help to poop, like very small majority of people.
Those people are from Seattle.
I've literally watched somebody just like take a sip and like as they're swallowing it, they're like, oh, like I gotta go.
Just instantly no.
Like
Bro,
holy shit.
I could be halfway through my day and then I get a freaking Starbucks and I'm just like, oh, let's go, buddy.
I think part of it is like it's not even actually really doing anything, but you've now trained yourself to have that
believe
response.
that it's doing something. Yeah.
Like your body's like, oh, as soon as I taste this liquid, it's time to poop. Like that is
8:30.
Time to
8:30
go.
a.m.
Okay, look.
Gosh.
I'm not going to say that's inaccurate, but I will say I ran out of regular coffee and I didn't know it. I've been drinking decaf for the past 2 days. And let me tell you, decaf doesn't do the same thing. It's not an activating agent, my guy.
Man.
So to me, it's not like a sip of the decaf coffee has the same effect as something that has caffeine in it.
I
Which is
hope
why
our
I'm
listeners are
drinking decaf coffee
buckled
right
up. for
Yeah.
the real conversation
this
they
is
just walked
all-
into.
all
This
it's gonna
is some
be today.
fascinating
Hey,
conversation.
I'm just trying to dance around. Maybe we should get a study going on coffee and how it affects video games.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
all right.
This-
I'm in.
Also,
This
also
Washington
seeing,
Post
seeing-
article says 30% of humans feel the need to defecate after drinking coffee.
I mean, WAPO
30%?
is
That's so
a bunch
low.
of shit.
It seems
so-
very low.
Oh, backtracking to what Frank's saying though, coffee and how it affects video games. There was a while there where I was like competing in some tournaments for like Fortnite, Apex, etc. If I didn't have my coffee, Hyperscape was a big one. If I didn't have my coffee, I couldn't compete. Couldn't keep up.
I
Wow.
feel like that's the only way you can play
That's 'cause
Hyperscape
everyone-
anyways. You got to be so freaking jittery to move the mouse.
Everyone's juicing.
Yeah, I need Adderall is what I need.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So you needed to be on a drug to perform well.
Adderall and Red Bull. Here we go.
You need to find an addy daddy. You're good to go.
Daddy, Jesus.
All right, let's move on to what have you been playing lately. Owen, we're going to start with you this week.
Wow. Hey, so I've been playing this game called Tavern Master. It's like a shop sim. You run a tavern. You expand the tavern. It kind of becomes an inn. It's fine.
How did I know
Wow.
that was gonna happen?
Yeah,
Typical.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've played some more fascinating games this week that we'll talk about later. But this one is just kind of very basic of, it looks like RuneScape basically, so it's not like the graphics are anything that interesting. The gameplay is what you would want it to be out of kind of a shop management thing of, you buy new items to sell and you set your prices. You have customers that are coming into your tavern to, buy beer, and you need to make sure that you've got waitresses to get the beer to the customers or whatever. Like, it's fairly straightforward in what you want it to be, which I appreciate. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. It is what you come to it for, which is to just kind of build and run an inn. Medieval kind of inn.
We
So
need like an animation for when Owen says something is fine, and
it's
it's like
fine,
an
yeah.
Owen stamp
It's a
of
pop-up.
fine
Yeah.
I'll work
onto
on that.
the
I'll
screen.
work on that.
Yeah.
Although there are different inflections in how he says fine, so I feel like the fine scale is actually like 3 to
It's
7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also multiple amounts of pause between the its and the fine.
yeah,
Right.
how much of
Yeah.
a
If-
like sigh is there before I say something? So like
the, the longer
It
the
depends.
pause, the lower on the scale it is. Listen, if I say it's fine, see, like upward
Yeah.
inflection, short pause, and if I go, it's fine,
Fine.
downward inflection, long pause. Owen's rating that a 3 out of
I-
10.
I actually think we're onto something. You know the guy who does the knob turning, and it's just
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think Owen needs
The
to
fine
start
scale.
a
We need to
channel.
develop a SOP for the fine scale.
Yeah.
I like that. I really appreciate that.
Be
Yeah.
down.
Jake, how about you?
Me. So I finally went back and I finished God of 4.
Finished it,
Yay!
I finished it.
Nice.
which means you
Nice.
started it again at some point.
Yeah. I actually started this a while ago. But yeah, I
You
started
just kept
again.
it hidden from us.
Yeah. Well, I
I
wanted
think
to.
you mentioned it to some people.
I mean, I wanted to get,
Wow, Caleb.
I didn't want to taint it, people throwing expectations on me. Oh, did you get to that awesome part?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
there goes my light. Okay, cool. Now it's mood lighting in here.
Nice.
Anyways, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It takes a long time to get good. I'd say it probably took me 10-ish hours before I enjoyed it really at all.
That's a long time.
Yeah, you're
Wow.
right.
That's a
long
You're
time.
right. That is a long time. That is a long
That's-
time.
That's a lot of devotion.
Yeah. But then maybe like another 5 or 10 after that, I actually started liking it a bit. Really, it's really the combat. I think the combat takes a really long time to like wake up. Like it's not until like halfway through the game you get your second weapon, and that's when I feel like the game really starts to like come into its own. Partially because that weapon kicks ass, but also because it feels like that's when they finally start like actually throwing tougher combats at you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Throwing you
Um,
a second weapon and like halfway through a game, that seems like poor pacing.
Yeah, I think it probably could have come a little bit earlier.
I think a lot of people that aren't me basically didn't use that weapon at all.
Really? It's so good.
I didn't really.
It's so fun, is what it is.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I like
it's
the chunky feel of the axe.
Literally. Sorry,
I
go
never
ahead.
used it. I never used it.
Why? It's so good. It's so fun. You just like literally. My problem is it's a weapon from an older game,
Yeah.
and my muscle memory is so ingrained that there's a combo where you do light attack, heavy attack, and I would always hit triangle, which in the old games was heavy attack, but in this game switches to your stupid ass axe. So halfway through my combo, I'd pull out the dumbass axe and I'd be like, "Oh no!" and then I'd get hit because I'm doing the
Wow.
I have an axe animation.
Yeah, I think that weapon is cool, but the axe is just so well designed and it feels so good to use it that I just never use the other weapon.
Literally, the only reason I started having fun 10 hours in is because you get the upgrade where if you hit someone in the head with your axe, with like when you throw it, the next shot actually does power. So I would just do entire combats just bouncing it off of enemies' faces,
Oh my gosh.
which, I mean, that's probably not how they wanted it to be. It's slow, it's not very effective, but it is funny. So I did a lot of that. But then I got the other weapon and it was like, oh, okay, this is actually like pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
The people who only use the axe, did they play the old games?
No.
Neither of them.
But this is my first God of War.
This makes so much more
Yeah,
sense
right.
on why you guys
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
choose the other weapon.
I
The moment.
I never liked the older weapon. I thought that they were dumb.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
The moment where Kratos goes back and gets the weapon, because I didn't expect it to be in the game at all, because they kind of like distanced themselves from the original trilogy.
Boy.
It was such like a big like fanboy moment, I think.
For me, I was like,
So bad.
cool.
Yeah,
New weapon. All right.
New thing. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
all right, cool.
yeah.
And then I pulled the axe back out. Didn't take much.
I
Go
have
ahead.
so I have a lot on this. I know because I
Okay.
know everyone really liked this one, so I wanted to kind of like
Shit on it.
well not shit on it, because right like I did end up liking it more or less. The climbing is bad. Climbing in games is so unfun anymore.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
I don't know. It's like,
Ooh.
hey, do you want to get over there, but like really slowly? Oh, dude,
Right.
yeah.
Developers need to learn that that's not like a fun game mechanic.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
filler.
I feel like Assassin's Creed kind of poisoned video games in a lot of ways, and climbing
Yeah.
is one of
Yeah.
the biggest ones.
I think
Yeah.
the only game that's actually done climbing well was Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it was fun, but it was, at least was better than
I
most.
mean, it was a lot more fun in a way of like looking up a long way and just being like, I think I can climb that. I think I can make it
get
up to the
there.
top. Be like,
Yeah.
that might be a little break, like right there, where I can like Link can. It's enough, like elevation that Link can stand up and like give himself a break. Be like, as I call sky rimming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing the Skyrim Together mod with some people, and I definitely forgot how easy it is that you can just like shoot straight up mountainsides in that game. I was like, right, this is weird.
I really like the fast travel system because they managed to make a fast travel system that is neither fast nor travels. It's really impressive. For like the first half of the game, all you can do is go back to the central area, which isn't really that far from anywhere you're gonna go. But if you want to go anywhere else, you gotta go to the middle, walk down some stairs, get in your stupid boat, ride the boat all the way to where you want to go, get out of the boat, and then walk there. Like, what? Don't even introduce the fast travel system if it doesn't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Just wasting my goddamn time. And it takes like 2 minutes to use. Because they're like, oh, we can't have a loading screen. Imagine the horror if you have to watch a loading screen for 30 seconds. It's better. Just dump them in an endless void for
Yeah.
a minute and a half. That's better. There we go. We nailed it, guys.
Yep.
Hey, it's no different, really. Either way.
It's every time I had to use it, I would point the camera straight at the ground so it didn't have to render anything, and I would just get on my phone and do something else until I
Wow.
heard the ding of the door appearing. Like, I don't want to sit and do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Valid.
One thing I did actually like about the game. I actually like this a lot. This was my favorite part of the game. The Valkyries.
Mm.
Valkyrie
yeah.
fights
Yeah.
fucking slap. They're so
They're
good.
awesome.
They're so fun. You know what doesn't slap? One of them is in the misty fuck you zone.
Mm.
The zone of like, hey, you have to waste like 5 hours here if you want to do anything.
Yep.
Like, literally, I was so
The grind
excited.
zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, I am going to get all of these. This is my favorite part of the game. I'm going to beat all these bosses. I'm going to get some cool armor. And then I get there and I'm like, okay, I Googled it. There's a Valkyrie here somewhere. I'll just run there. I'll ignore this bullshit because I don't want to deal with this mist. But then the Valkyrie's in the goddamn mist. So you gotta deal with the mist. So I just gave up. I just stopped doing the Valkyries.
Oh
No.
no!
There were
Final
like 2
ones.
left. I wasn't gonna
Great.
do it. Here's the problem. Like, because I looked at it, I'm like, how long is it gonna take me to do this? It's like, well, you gotta grind in the mist to get the gear, to survive in the mist longer, to get more stuff from the mist, to buy better gear. And I was just like, I am not.
The grind
That is-
zone.
Not
actually
what
do
I
that either.
want. I
I
just
don't
wanted
remember
to fight her.
grinding in the mist area.
There's
you
no
have
way.
to.
If you run straight to the Valkyrie, you have like a minute to beat her, maybe.
Hmm.
It's basically impossible. And I was not going to do it. So that was my high point and then also my low point.
Hmm. Was it lower than the first time you walked up the mountain and then turned around and walked back down the
That was
mountain?
I mean that literally was bad enough that I stopped playing the game for a few years. So close.
Okay.
I was at least invested enough that I was like, fine, I'll just speed run the rest of this stupid game then.
Hmm.
The last thing I wanted to mention is Baldur, because he sucks. Every time
Aw.
he shows up, it's not gonna be a good time. I think his boss fights are bad. I don't think the game has a lot of good boss fights, except for the Valkyries, but Baldur's are the worst.
I don't like
I
Baldur
just-
either.
He's not fun to fight, and then he does a lot of like kind of QTEs where it's like, oh, you're gonna punch him, and then he's gonna punch you, but you gotta block, and it's like, what are we? Come here, Drax.
I would say that the first Baldur fight that you have, it's like one of those moments, because it felt like one of those moments in video games, comes up in Souls games all the time. Like first boss fight, you are meant to die, you are meant to lose.
Sure.
But it's like where it's like God on God, and you're like you just throwing each other through fucking hills and houses and trees, and it's like, dude, I don't know where this is gonna go. But after like the third time, I was like, okay,
Yeah, I get it.
like
What's
But I
So-
did really want to make that guy feel pain because I didn't want to go
Yeah.
through another one of those boss fights.
Oh, dude, can we talk about how lame the reveal is of like what the answer to his like how do you kill him riddle is?
I don't even remember what it was.
I
It's
don't either.
literally
I played
Atreus
it
just,
like
like,
a few months ago.
has a knife. And he happens to stab him with it. It's like, oh, that knife was made out of the magic juice. You got him.
The
Good
ju-
job.
The Juju, Jungle
Yeah,
Juice.
it's like,
Isn't it
He
the
might as well
arrows
just-
have like
The
the specific?
arrowhead.
yeah, but they get rid of
Root
the
or
arrows
whatever.
early. And I was like, oh, that was kind of clever. But it's like, he might as well have just had something in his pocket. He might as well just had like a gun in his pocket that undid it.
they do like kind of allude to that when his mother, you like bring those home. She's
Burns
like,
the
put those
arrows."
away.
Sure,
she's
but
like,
it's-
Jesus.
But it's not like they go, huh, maybe we should get those arrows. It's like he
No.
just happened to have a knife made of the same stuff, and of course he stabbed him with it, because it's a
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's so lame. And then you have a lame boss fight, because Baldur sucks. He's awful. It's such weird energy to me to have, like, the final boss also be the first boss, and you kick his ass so hard. Like, you throw him through a mountain, and then he shows up later, and, like, it's like, oh, I guess I'll throw him through a mountain again? I don't know.
But this time it's in snow. Oh wait.
Yeah, yeah, and his mom's there.
Yeah, and his mom. It's just the whole time she's like, "No, stop!"
It's like, woman, stop. Let me throw your son through a mountain again.
Shut your mouth, woman.
But yeah.
So, like, out of 10, what would you give that game?
out
this
of
point.
10
I mean, you can do whatever
Um,
scale you want. 2 thumbs.
thumbs.
You have any more points?
3.5.
2 thumbs out of 10.
I'll give it like a 7. 7 feels good.
How long is your pause before the sigh?
I mean, I would not say that it's. I wouldn't say it's fine. I think it is better than fine, but it
Nice.
has a lot of frustrating issues for me. I mean, this kind of like the open quotes like adult video game, I guess is what I'm gonna call them, like your Last of Us, where it's like, oh, you're a dad and you're walking and it's sad, and your kid's there and they're angry or whatever.
Yeah, how do you feel about the dynamic between Kratos and his
It
son?
was.
Though?
I mean, it was pretty good. It kind of comes and goes. I mean, I get that he's a kid, but sometimes the things he does just feel really random. Like, it's just like, oh, this is the part of the story where he's angry, so he's going to be angry for the next hour. And it's just like, that part's over. He's back to regular now. And it's just like, what are we doing? What's going on here? But
I did really like that part of the dynamic, especially when it was like, oh, it breaks up having to walk places.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking.
Significant amount.
I mean, it's obvious. It's really well written. It's very well acted. So no major complaints there.
And
It's really-
Mimir is thumbs up.
Yeah.
Mirror. Which one's
The
The
talking
The
head.
head. That's
Oh,
like
the head. Yeah, no.
some
he's
of the
great.
best
Yeah, no, he's
dialogue in the
fun.
game. It's between him and Kratos.
Yep.
Okay. Any other points on God of War?
No, that's I'm good. I'm tapped out. Just
Are
wanted to
you
get that off
excited
my
to play
quest.
the sequel? Like, did finishing this make you excited for the next one?
5 Narok.
Question.
I'll say yes. I don't know that I'm $70 excited to play it,
Hmm.
which puts me in a weird spot because I don't think I'm going to be able to get it this year for less than $70 on PS5 at least.
It's gonna be $70.
On PS5, yeah. You could get it on PS4 for 60 because whatever.
Past
Reasons.
generation.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Reasons.
sure,
Weird.
dude. Whatever.
Are people monetizing like graphics now?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
just they're trying to make the standard video game price $70 on like the new systems.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, have
went
fun
through
with
the
that.
50 to 60, and
Yeah.
that shit made 12-year-olds around the world start to understand economics.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll get it. I would love to get it this year for less than $70. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know,
Not to si-
assuming it comes out this year.
Not to sidetrack on like cost of video games, but I think if they had like some sort of dynamic scale that was like, you know, we talk about AAA title stuff all the time and how things should be expensive. We've talked about this in the past, but if things weren't just always $60, no matter how long the content of the game is, I would feel justified in paying more money for a long game. Witcher 3, I would pay way more than $60, like
Sure.
just specifically to play a game with that much content.
Like I can probably there aren't a lot of games that are worth honestly even $60, but like $70, I'm thinking like Witcher 3, Elden Ring, Bloodborne maybe. Like you're really
Bloodborne,
talking
really? I feel
cream
like-
of the crop.
I feel like you would pay $100 for Bloodborne though.
Hmm.
I probably would. I sight unseen though, like without having played it beforehand.
Right. If you knew what you were getting, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
You
then,
didn't
I mean,
know
what's
for sure.
crazy though is you look at something like Hollow Knight, which has always been $20.
$15. It's
Yeah,
15.
it's like what is
It's
this?
insane.
That has more content than like 50% of AAA games.
Yeah.
mhm.
Like what? Bananas.
More quality.
Hollow
content than-
Absolutely.
And when you talk about like indie games, Hollow Knight definitely feels like a $30 game. $20
Yep.
$30 maybe. And
I
somehow
feel
it's
like-
15.
I
Yeah.
feel like the best balance in the non AAA market when you're like, okay, I want to get something that is a little different. It's like $30 to $40. It's like that usually is a tell that has good ratings, and you're like, okay, there's going to be a lot of content here. There's something unique. And then once you get like $20 and below, outside of some stragglers, then it gets into the indie market, like the true
Yeah.
indie market.
Yeah.
I feel like $40 is like the perfect kind of
Cut off
Yeah, it's a,
mark.
Right-
it's a
right
good
in
sweet
between.
spot.
you're
Mhm.
skirting the line between AAA, but you also have like creativity and ingenuity there as well.
Yeah.
Did you play Celeste, Jake?
Me? Yeah. It was
Okay.
I was a big proponent of it the year it won. I'm sure you're looking
You
at
love
our previous
Celeste.
game of the year. I do
Yeah, I'm
like Celeste a
wondering.
lot.
I'm just wondering like where
I don't know what else
Votes
was on my
would've
list
changed.
this year. Celestial would have been my top.
I
Absolutely.
don't think anything would have changed.
That's very possible. I
based
don't know
on you
what was
playing
on
it.
my list this year. That year, rather.
Yeah, because it got to semifinals.
All right, I'll go next. Aside from just grinding in Destiny recently, which I feel like I have been doing for the past several weeks, we've been playing a lot of raids, and it's been an absolute blast. Some of the best content in Destiny is in raids or dungeons.
No,
And,
is.
Sorry, yes. And I'm excited to play the most recent one because I feel like we've recently gone back and played a couple older raids, and some of the mechanics aren't quite up to par with some of the newer content. I am excited to play this new one because I think it's going to be really complicated. I think it's a good setting inside the pyramid. I think it's going to be really cool, really complex puzzles, and just very unique. Kind of a setting that at least us Destiny 2 players haven't really experienced a lot of. I don't know, Frank, was there any pyramid content in Destiny 1?
No pyramid content in Destiny
Okay.
1.
Okay.
This is brand new. I'm just as excited as you are.
Okay, it's good stuff. The only other thing I've been playing is a little Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, which I mentioned this game the other day, and somebody was like,
That'd be a
that's
longer
totally a made-up
title.
game. It's just made up. It is not a
that
made-up
game. Doesn't
game.
exist.
It totally exists.
Isn't that a game on PS2?
No, not that I'm aware of. When did this game actually come out? Let me look. Hold on.
I feel like
It came out 2021.
What?
On
made that
PS2. 2021. I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at the wiki page. Sniper
must-
Ghost
A
Warrior Contracts 2.
random made up name game from 2021 that's not even going to be like in consideration for game of the year.
I just pulled like a Nelson Mandela effect.
Yeah, no, it came out in 2021. I don't know. I think I saw somebody playing it or something. I don't know what happened, but it was
Probably
just stuck
TikTok.
in my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna go just try out this game, which I've really enjoyed. It is a tactical shooter, stealth game. There is kind of this sandbox world you play in, and essentially what you're doing is you're moving in between some traditional like open mission areas where it's very stealthy. You're doing a lot of takedowns or stealth-based maneuvers in order to take enemies down, to some like concentrated long shot areas where you're just laying down, and then you're just spending a significant amount of time planning out how you're going to take shots for the 20 to 30 enemies that are in the area.
All that time waiting until the lightning strikes over and over.
Kind of. The interesting thing is, in the game, there's also a set of... So you have contracts, which are the people you need to kill, but you also have, like... I can't remember what they call them, but they're basically achievements. And it's very specific things, circumstances that you have to find yourself in order to get more of the in-game currency to buy, like, upgrades for your weapons. So you buy a better scope, you buy a better, whatever. It's got a stand. You got some
Silencer.
gadgets you buy. A
Bipod.
silencer. Yeah, all that stuff.
Monopod.
Sure. I don't think there's a monopod, but there's definitely a bipod. You can buy a little
Giant.
drone, hack things. You can buy an automated sniper rifle that you set up, and then you can tag things with your drone and have it fire synchronously with you.
like the Division.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
division.
like the Division.
Sure. I didn't really pay
Hearing
enough
about
attention to
drones, I just think of Wildlands would be like, I got 3 tangos.
Like, wasn't
Baby
that in
makes 4.
Tom Clancy, the one before the recent one?
Wildlands?
Wildlands.
Wildlands, the
Wildlands.
one Frank just mentioned.
The one that I just said.
That one.
The
there.
Division.
Hey, did we mention Wildlands?
No, he said Wildlands.
Wait,
No, I said
Wildlands?
it because the sniper is from the Division 2
The
specifically.
drone.
The drone is from Wildlands. Tom
The
Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
So did you sell this concept idea to somebody, Aaron?
Did I sell this concept idea to someone? No. I
Yeah,
did
the
not.
whole the whole thing that you just explained for this fake game.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't. I really like this game. I don't know why I like this game. Maybe because I can just kind of like sit there and plan things out. The one thing that I'll say about this is that the AI is pretty dumb, so it doesn't make it super complicated. I'm playing on the second highest difficulty. I thought about playing the highest one, but it
Wow.
literally takes everything out of it.
Humble
If you get hit
brag.
once, you're just instantly dead, and in that game, you're getting shot towards a lot if
What
you're
a
not
wuss.
careful.
Life, baby.
So I know.
Well, if you're
I
getting
know.
if you're getting shot at as a sniper, then you did your job wrong.
It also,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it takes off the scope adjustments, like for things like normally in your scope you have two things. You have a range adjuster, so you can like adjust the height, like you're looking at the height of a person and you're adjusting the range of the scope, and then it also give you wind speed adjustments, so it'll tell you like how far the wind is moving to the left or the right that you need to move the scope over to actually land the shot. And I'm pretty sure in the hardest of hardest hard versions it's just a freaking reticle. Good luck. And you're just you got to know what you're aiming for actually.
Good.
Have you played any of the Sniper Elite games?
I have. This is very, very much in that realm.
But
it
it's
still
first
has the, like,
person, right?
It's first person. It still has that like bullet time, like where it follows the shot and it will like, you know, show somebody's head exploding or their balls getting blown off, that sort of thing.
Is this not? It's not. Is it by the same people?
It is not by the same people.
Really?
And this game is built on CryEngine too, so it looks really freaking good. I don't know. It's fun to play. It's also rated really well, actually, for being a 2012 PS1 game, PS2 game. I mean, but anyway, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2. It's good. It's not fine. It's good. I like it.
Apparently, it's made by the Lords of the Fallen people, so it's gotta be good, right?
Oh, it's gotta be good.
Let's move on. Alex, you're up.
All right.
Don't sound
I'm
too
just-
enthusiastic there.
I'm stuck on researching things about Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts too.
Everybody, welcome
Why?
to Alex's
Why?
high octane power
All
hour.
right.
Why are
so
you
here's the
researching
game.
things on Sniper Ghost
don't
Warrior
know.
Contracts 2?
Yeah, Aaron
Because
just
it's
told us
such a-
everything there is to know.
Such an odd thing to exist.
I mean,
It's really not.
Such an
I don't
odd thing
think
for
so.
Aaron to be into.
Yeah.
there it is.
why?
Hey,
He just is. It's not.
would you be interested in Arma?
I think it's like as
I
weird
like
as
playing
when we
it out.
see Abe playing like pro cycling manager
First
simulator.
of all, there is a major difference between somebody playing another tactical shooter game that happens to have long range shots and like pause mechanics where you're like really like timing things out, and somebody else going from whatever normal games they play to I don't even know how to explain the game
The
that he plays.
turn-based tactical cycling game.
It's not even cycling though. It's like a cycling circuit. If you look at the screenshots and the gameplay from that game, I don't know what you do in that game. I'm not
Is
gonna
it
lie.
tactical? Is it turn-based tactical?
For
Oh, it is.
cycling,
Oh.
I don't know. That one's wild to me.
Maybe Abe's not actually playing it.
Oh, he
my
said he
God.
is. Yeah,
Oh, man.
we brought it up one time, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I love it. It's really good. Like I can just play. You know, if I got to get up and get my kids, I just like leave it there. I don't have to
They
do
got
anything.
Pro
No
Cycling
pausing."
Manager 2022 now. It came out in June.
Oh my gosh, he's gonna be playing that for sure.
Abe has it on its wish
Diggity
list.
dog.
All right,
Dang.
Alex,
Christmas gift.
on to you.
Yeah. I played a game called Severed Steel. It's really good. It is like a movement-based shooter. It's very short. It's like 3 hours long.
You played
When I
this a
say
while
movement,
back.
yeah. So I played the demo
Okay.
forever ago, and then the game actually came out, and I've had it in my library for like a year.
Classic.
And yeah, so I finally played it. It's like 3 hours long. When I say movement shooter, I mean like it's got the wall running and the sliding and like the diving type stuff going
The
on.
movement part of the movement shooter.
You basically are dead if you're ever not moving. And it's set up to like you automatically dodge bullets if you're doing a stunt. So if you're in a wall run, dive, or slide, you dodge bullets.
Oh.
And if you shoot people, you get health back. So you're constantly trying to chain stunts together and kill enemies. And it's a really good time.
It's got
you-
that Hotline Miami where the room setup's always the same and you're slamming your head
Yeah.
against it, trying to kill all the enemies before they
Yeah,
shoot
so,
you
like,
while
if
stand
you-
still.
You die pretty quick if you're not keeping up, and it resets you at the beginning of the level. And all the
Mhm.
levels are like a few minutes each, you know. All the weapons have like very limited ammunition, so you're constantly picking up ammo off of you're picking up whole guns off of enemies. And if you run out of a gun, you can like dive past a person and take like their pistol out of their holster and shoot them with it. It's pretty sick. And then another huge mechanic is slow-mo. So your right trigger or your right mouse button is not named down sights button. It is a slow-mo button. So it's all hip fire. And it feels really good to like dive into a room and headshot 3 people and then like roll out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All the levels have like kind of unique gimmicks of you have to get to certain locations or destroy certain things. You also, about halfway through the game, you get an arm cannon. It looks like straight up like Samus's arm cannon. And you can start blowing through terrain with it.
Mm-hmm.
The entire level is destructible. So that's really fun. You can like create your own pathways, get, creative with it. And then it's also used for like, there's certain levels where you'll straight up have to burrow through a wall to get to an objective.
Does it have like a speedrun leaderboard type thing going on in it?
Oh, I'm sure it feels exactly like that would be a thing. I don't know for sure if that exists, but it feels exactly like that setup for that.
While you were describing it, I was like, man, this game sounds really familiar. And then I checked my Steam library and I was like, oh, I own this game and I've played this game.
Yeah, there you go.
And I liked it quite a lot too.
It's a lot of fun. I also have been playing a little bit of Multiverses since that's now out in open beta. That is the WB version of the Smash Brothers knockoff.
As in Warner Brothers?
Yeah. So a while back we got like the Nickelodeon Smash Brothers knockoff with like SpongeBob and all that.
We did?
Yeah, Nickelodeon All-Stars. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I thought it wasn't. Didn't Sony have one? Was like
PlayStation All-Stars.
PlayStation All-Stars, yeah. Okay.
That failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
The Nickelodeon one I think did all right for a bit, but also is like a paid thing. This is free to play actually, which I think will help it succeed. Also, all the like actual Smash Brothers pros and people that are in that scene seem to think it's good, so that will probably help its street cred. And
I don't trust any of those people.
yeah, I don't know. It's
how's it rate against Brawlhalla?
Oh boy.
I don't like Brawlhalla anymore, so better than that, I guess.
Yeah, that game's junk.
At this point,
It definitely is like the beginning of Brawlhalla though, where you feel like a god until everybody who's a casual quits. And then once that happens, you're never going to be able to get a single hit on people. So,
it's heavily focused on 2v2s. And there are a bunch of, like, everybody has a co-op mechanic of some kind, like all the heroes. So I've been playing Rain Dog. I don't know what he's from, actually.
Russell Crowe?
Rain Dog? He's like a reindeer dog, I think. Rain Dog.
Sure.
And Chad's been playing, like, whatever. He's been switching a bunch. But I have a move where I can hit a button, and if I'm facing Chad, it'll, like, tether him. And then if I hit it again, it'll pull him to me. So if he's like getting knocked out, or if there's somebody off the ledge that he wants to go try to knock out, then I can like make it safe for him to do that, or try to save his life if he's getting, pummeled off the stage or something. It's pretty cool. I was also playing like Wonder Woman, and she has a down B that will like teleport her to her ally, and like do like a little bit of a burst and an AoE. So you can use that like defensively or offensively.
Jazz hands.
Player I was playing mostly was Finn from Adventure Time. Every time you hit an enemy, they spew out gold. And then you get to grab the gold, and then eventually when you use your quote-unquote power-up, you're buying like more speed for your team. Weird. It's weird.
Yeah, you can like go into a shop menu for a second, spawns above your head, and get like a buff for a little bit. It's a bunch of like little unique mechanics for all the characters, which is kind of cool.
Another one is like you throw. Oh, go ahead.
The character list is ridiculous. LeBron James.
Yeah,
Arya
LeBron
Stark,
James. Yeah,
the Iron Giant.
What?
The Iron
What
Giant's
is
in it.
happening?
Yeah, The Iron Giant's
Tasmanian
just
Devil.
massive. Like that's
Harley
his whole
Quinn,
thing.
Quinn, Batman.
It's just an absurd cast.
Iron
Was it
Giant, great movie.
Bugs Bunny in there somewhere, I think.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny's in there.
Yeah.
What is up, Doc?
I think the leak is that Rick and Morty are coming next.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like, if Pickle Rick's not in it, I ain't buying it.
Yeah.
Just don't hit the free to play download, you know?
Does the Iron Giant in the game ever say, I go, you stay?
Mm.
I don't know.
I'm tearing
I
up
haven't
right
played
now
much.
just thinking about it, guys.
If there's not a tear-jerking
Well,
moment.
It also has, in my opinion, which I understand why they're doing it, the annoying mechanic of not having all the characters unlocked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have to
The
like
League of
grind.
Legends system.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I just want to try the characters. Like, I just want to try them all. Like, why do I have to play your game for 1 billion hours to unlock one?
Yeah.
Dollar value.
It does let
Yeah,
you like
free-to-play
test them
game.
out in the training room.
That's
So
a
you
plus.
can like, I guess before you spend your currency, you can make sure you're gonna like it.
That is nice.
But yeah, there's a handful of characters unlocked at the beginning, and then the rest you have to purchase with in-game currency, or you can buy like their premium currency to unlock things with. So far, I've been having a good time with it though. Chad and I have won like 80% of our matches.
Yes,
so far.
sir.
That number is going to start going down dramatically.
Nah, we're just the
Yeah.
best players in the world.
That does make sense, yeah.
Yep. Oh,
Cool.
the characters also have classes, weirdly enough. Like they're all categorized into there's like tank, bruiser, assassin, support, and mage.
Support. What does support? Is it not a free for all?
It's 2v2.
It's 2v2s.
2v2. Doesn't I mean support still feels like it would be really, really bad.
The guy I've been playing is support. It seems
Well, of
pretty
course
legit.
you've been playing as a support.
It's a lot of like, so the guy, I guess the reason why he's categorized as a support is because he has the tether thing and can pull people back. He also has another move that like puts up a gem and then it'll put like lightning in that spot for a while. And if your ally goes into the lightning, then he gets a buff and he'll be able to like apply shocked to enemies. So there's also like elemental things. Like the guy, he also has like a fireball he can throw, and then when it hits the ground, it creates like a patch of fire. And then if you throw his other like attack through it, it'll catch on fire as it goes through the fire. There's like elemental interactions. There's also ice. You can like freeze people. More interesting mechanics.
Cool. Let's move on to Caleb.
I'm playing a couple of things. Picked up this game called The Tarnishing of Juxtia. Whatever that name is.
I really need to know if you picked this game up just because it had the word tarnishing in it, and it was just like giving you Elden Ring vibes.
No, I mean,
Everybody
it
loves
is
a
marketed
good
as a
tarnish.
Souls-like, and it does have a little bit of that flair.
Okay, all right.
It also kind of looks like it's going to be a Metroidvania. It does not play like a Metroidvania. It is incredibly linear, which is quite disappointing for me. And in general, it kind of just feels like there's just a lot missing from it. Like you find NPCs and bring them back to your camp or whatever. None of them do anything. None of the ones you find do anything, which seems weird. A weird option to like bring them back and save them if they don't help in any way or give you anything. Odd. There's a lot of areas where you're running through and there's just nothing. You're just traveling through the world slowly.
Does it look
No
good?
enemies. It's pretty. Yes and no. Like the landscapes and stuff, really pretty pixel art. The characters and enemies, not so great. They're like weirdly 3D animated turned into pixel art, if that makes sense. And it doesn't look that great. Also, like you have this spell essentially you can cast. You have a couple spells you can cast, and you basically only ever use the first one they ever give you because all the other ones are terrible. That's kind of disappointing. I mean, I haven't gotten them all yet, but I think I've found no useful ones other than the
They
starting
just
one.
Legit give you the best spell in the game right out the gate, and then all of the rest of them are just worse.
it's not even very good. It's just the best one still.
Oh man.
I almost never want to use it, but it is still the best of all of them. It's not amazing. I do like quite a few of the boss fights are enjoyable, but I don't know if it's worth playing all the way up to the boss fights because it's just missing a lot of content, I think.
Early access, full release.
It's not full release. Yeah. So I don't know.
Huh.
They just wanted an empty world, I guess. A lot of people
It's
complain.
deep.
I saw in the reviews about input lag, but I haven't experienced really any of that. It does have a slightly odd queuing system for moves, but it doesn't seem input laggy. But still, not that great.
Really heavy-handed buffering.
Yeah, maybe. The other thing I've actually been playing with Alex, is Salt and Sacrifice. It is a sequel to Salt and Sanctuary. And I really like the direction they've taken it, actually. It is pretty similar. So definitely got that Metroidvania vibe, got the Souls-like combat. It, however, has a new system for all. I don't want to say grinding, but kind of grinding materials,
Yeah.
where you go on these mage hunts, and you gotta chase down the mage, and he'll keep teleporting around the map, and then you finally box him in and defeat him, and get a whole bunch of resources that you can use to upgrade your weapons and craft better weapons and such.
Mm.
And a lot of the weapons have really specific abilities attached to them that are similar to the mages you have to beat to get them. So it's kind of fun to test out the different ones and get new materials so you can upgrade them and try them out.
I was really excited for this game because I really liked the first one, and then when it came out, I was reading reviews on it, and I was like the opposite. I was completely turned off because a lot of what people say is like they took the first one, which is like a big Metroidvania map, and they turned it into like a hub and spoke system, which is kind of correct. You have like your hub world base, and you like teleport through a portal to different areas, and you explore those areas. And then also they've taken the normal boss progression and turned it into a grind like Monster Hunter style, where you like have to go beat bosses to get components off of them, and then use the components to build armor and weapons. And I was just like, that sounds really awful compared to the original, but actually it seems like it's working surprisingly well. I haven't felt like annoyed by that system yet.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't felt the need to like overly grind something yet. Like there's only been a handful of occasions that we've specifically gone back and tried to kill a certain type of boss because we wanted to upgrade something. Most of the time we're just progressing through the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the areas for the hub and spoke system are still big enough that you have enough to explore that they're interesting.
Yeah, and each spoke still acts like a small Metroidvania map on its own with lots of shortcuts and when you get a new power up, you can go back to old ones and find new areas.
How's the map?
No map.
No map.
No map.
Don't like games that don't have a map.
I just rely on Caleb telling me where to go.
Makes sense.
He's
makes
like,
sense.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, there's like a bonfire back here, right? I'm like, I don't know. I'm following you.
Got to get that internal mapping system.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I would have way less of a good time with this game if Caleb wasn't playing it with me.
Called iPhone GPS.
All right, let's move on to Chad.
Hey, you know what to do?
What to do?
What it is.
My cat's trying to rip my headphones out right now. Okay, there we go.
WHYBPL, dog.
Just, you know,
Wow.
just playing a little bit of Dest. A little bit of Destiny 2.
Yeah, a little dust.
Yeah, trying to get through Duality solo was something else.
Gosh, I can't believe you tried and did that.
I can't believe you did it on a class other than Titan.
Did you hear what happened to me, Caleb?
I don't think so.
So I didn't get told by a certain somebody, probably because he wanted me to suffer.
That you have to do it in one go?
I honestly, I don't know why I didn't even think about it. Like, I beat it the same way you did, not in one sitting. and I
then
didn't
was
get the
upset.
achievement. And then I had to go Google it, and people were like, bunch of freaking morons. Everybody knows when you do a solo dungeon, you got to do it in one sitting. I'm like, where in the achievement does it say you have to do this?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I started it pretty early throughout the day, and then halfway through the day, I went and like got some lunch and built built something to hide my cat's litter box, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Came back, and then there was one. I think you got offline. We were talking about anime or something. You got offline, and then I looked at the time that you got offline. It took me like 2 more hours to beat the final encounter. Once I
Jeez.
beat it, it gave me like the hey, you beat it with a full team of solar people.
Yep.
It didn't give me the other thing, so I did research on it, and I went to bed kind of angry. And then
yeah.
I woke up the next day, and I was like, "Cracks and knuckles, let's go!" And then I went right back into it and beat it in 2.5 hours.
It's
Oh
so
my
weird that
gosh.
it gives you the achievement for the solar one. So it like
Yeah.
does know it counts that you've done it,
Yep.
but just doesn't count
Well,
for solo.
It's also weird that it gives you the achievement for the solar one because it specifically says
A full
finish
fire
with
team.
a full fire team. It also,
Yeah.
Chad, you got the same achievement for finishing with a full fire team of the same class. When you
Yeah.
got that. Which, again, I guess if you count that as a full fire team, but that's kind of weird because normally a full fire team on a dungeon is 3, not 1 person.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that, and I've also been kind of exploring the Solstice event and then getting the different pieces of armor, and then like using the ghost to manipulate which attribute I'm going to get, and then like finaling out to where I can actually get like 22. I think I'm having like per piece like 22 resilience or 22 mobility, and then 20 of the other. It's really nice. So I have like 100 resilience and like 84 mobile right now.
Really nice when you get to 200s. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I've also masterworked 3 pieces of gear, and I have a token like waiting to be used, but I need to get the prisms before I do that. So I'm almost there with
The
4
grind,
pieces
baby.
of masterwork.
And Master
But yeah,
Race is
grind.
The raids
terrible.
have been the raids have been fun. I like that, you know, Aaron's been looking up the guides for us so that we're actually able to like get through them pretty smoothly. So.
Yeah, I don't want us to have to suffer through it, so I figured I'll just go ahead and look them up from the beginning.
Yeah.
Relax.
Exactly. Other than that, I've been playing. I mean, the biggest grind I was doing before this was Neon White, where I was trying to go through and platinum every level, and then I kept getting stuck on a level and being like, well, I could probably get top 10 in the world, and then I'd get to like top 30 or 40 or something, and I'd be like, I can still do it though, and then I just like look at the time and be like, how did 4 to 5 hours just go by me playing the same level
Yep.
over and over again? Holy crap!
That's just playing Neon White, my dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Same 13-second loop over and over again for 4 hours straight.
You just
It's a great
don't
time.
notice it.
It's just like most techno music. You'd be all right.
And then your shoulder blades and your arms and everything just starts to get be inflamed and in pain, and you're like, why am I really this tense? And then you start realizing that every time you get close to the flag, you actually lean towards your computer screen a little
Yeah.
bit because you're like, come on.
That's what I was doing in Duality when I was getting blown up in the air by the Bellkeepers, and I'm like trying to float back to the platform. I'm like leaning way forward. Like that's gonna help me somehow.
Well, Duality got super easy after I put Assassin's Cowl on, where every time I used my melee and or finisher, I would go invisible. So I was just literally using my melee, throwing my knives at every single scion that walked by, and I was just invisible for the entire duration. There were a couple times where they didn't die, and I'd be like, "What the heck?" And then I would just sit there, just using my what is it? It's when you dodge and you get the not the resilience, but the
Melee
recovery on or whatever.
Oh, Class C
Class C
restoration.
restoration.
Yeah,
Classy
that. So
restoration.
I had that, and then also the finishers would make me go invisible. So in the final room, what would happen is if I missed my knives, I would just literally get it down to a science of like 3 bullets, assassinate a scion, 3 bullets, and I would like watch the timer, and I would just wait for my knives to come back, and then I'd be like, all right, now I can actually proceed.
Wow. So you basically played the encounters without really having to interact much with just like ads firing at you.
Oh yeah, the biggest problem was guessing which bell the guy was going towards, being able to kill the two guys before he got there, and I had to use Gallahorn to do that, and or I had to get really good at shooting one time with a glaive and then throwing one knife, and then my knife would reset, shoot one time with a glaive, and then throw a knife. But the way you do it is that you can't throw the knives with the glaive out. So you basically had to shoot with the glaive, switch to your primary weapon, throw the knives, switch back to your glaive, shoot with the glaive, and you had to do that really fast and make sure you didn't miss. And then you had to make sure that you like baited out a stomp from the guy to where he didn't actually get to the bell and change it and like make you go back into the other realm. And then the most frustrating thing that happened to me was I was almost finished with it. And then it transferred me to the red room and it instantly killed me. The nightmare consumed me like as soon as I got over there. And I was like, what happened? So I like researched it and I was like, yeah, don't stand near the bells. And I was like, I was standing near the bell. That's not good.
I tried to explain that at one
That's not
point. We
good.
were on the second encounter that if you shoot a different bell and you're standing in a different circle for the like you're shooting a bell far away from you and you're standing in the circle of a bell that's next to you, it'll just kill you.
Yeah.
I think that's just the way the mechanics are built, but
So
that rarely
weird.
happens unless you're in a room with multiple bells, which just so happens to be like the two major encounters.
Yeah.
Man, that
It's
freaking
also-
glaive not letting you use your power melee is so freaking annoying.
That's so true.
It's
It's
because
so
actually really
obnoxious.
weird. I never thought about it, but especially with like introducing it with the expansion that gives you unique melee abilities,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they introduce a new weapon that takes away your melee ability.
it's so dumb. I don't understand.
I mean, that's kind of always been the case though, because swords you don't have a melee ability when you're running around with a sword out.
Yep.
True.
So
you can't
It's
use
not
your
like
melee.
this
What
is
does the
new.
melee do? Does it just swing the sword
It-
like a left click does?
Yeah, it just like
Well,
does a
that's
regular attack.
dumb. That's so dumb.
That's why I always wish that once they ported it to PC that they would have a dedicated like melee ability button and then just a melee like a bash. Just it'd be like, no, I don't want to waste it on this guy, but I have no bullets left. I don't want to use my shotgun. I just want to like slap this guy.
Yeah,
you
can
can
do that.
set it a dedicated power melee and a dedicated regular melee, but it doesn't matter when you have glaive out. Both of them
Or
use the
sword.
glaive melee or,
Or
sword.
sword. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
dumb.
actually did introduce that input on PC.
Jung.
I don't know.
So dumb.
Frank, let's move on to you.
Frankie. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So haven't really been playing a lot of games lately. But I decided to kind of stamp out some of the ones that we've been playing. Obviously, a little bit of Destiny, but talked about that ad nauseum. Raids are always a good time. Aliens Fireteam Elite is a game that is essentially it's a game horde based levels, very Left 4 Dead, very World War Z, Back for Blood, whatever you want to call it. With different, but it's very odd, very odd. I feel like the reason why I really like this game is because I am a very big fan of the film Aliens, and all of the like prop work and everything that went into it. So when like the M41A pulse rifle starts shooting and I get all giddy, I'm like, oh, and Alex and Caleb are like sitting over there like, wow, why does this main gun sound like crap? And I was like, oh, but it's pretty neat. The big reason why I brought it up is because they just introduced cross-platform play for the game, as well as they just released. They had a big update where it was. There's a prestige mode added now. There's a slew of new weaponry that came out. No new classes, anything like that. But if you're looking for a, especially in the higher difficulties, challenging, wave-based kind of horde, shoot 'em up, whatever you want to call them, I'd recommend that game. That game's fun. But the big one that I really got into, that really hooked me, first game that's hooked me in like a really long time, is a game called War Tales. It's from developers by the name of Shiro Games. They've made a lot of other stuff. like Dune Spice Wars, Gamecade, Darksburg, Northgard, and a slew of other ones that I've seen.
Played some of those.
Yeah, hopping around on the Steam Workshop, seeing good reviews against them. But War Tales sucked me in because it was tactical turn-based open world RPG, and I was like, yeah, I'm in. And I played it, and I realized it was one of those games where I was so engrossed in it that I never looked at what time it was. And for me, I am always looking at what time it is. You know, always got my watch, got my clock down in the corner, got my clock up by my desk. I got clocks all over the place. But it would literally be like 6 hours goes by, and I'm like, bah, what happened? Okay, let's go. Let's just get one more fight in. But it's really unique where it breaks up a lot of the gameplay. It's a lot of not necessarily rock paper scissors, but there are very dedicated classes who are good at one particular thing. Not necessarily that it trumps another, but it also has weapon abilities. I mean, it checks like all my boxes. Interactive map that you can, label yourself. Always love games that have maps that you can just add labels to yourself.
Yeah.
To go back to, like, oh, there's a locked chest here. I couldn't open it. I'm gonna add a marker here. I'll come back to it eventually. The overall like camp and food system is really cool. The game is just built all around like probably 8 or 9 different systems that you're constantly having to balance with. So it really breaks up the gameplay. So you're not just always doing turn-based combat. You get out of combat. Okay, now I have to worry about paying all my people. There's no party size limit. The only party size limit is that at the end of every 3 days in the game, you have to pay everybody. And the higher level they are, the more expensive they are. And so, I found like the balance to be right around 8, maybe 9. But now it's starting to get too expensive because they're all starting to level up. It's got the permadeath. You have to worry about food every day. Every so often you need to rest. And during rest, everybody has like roles within the camp, crafting. Like there's just, even the crafting system is interactable. It's like a mini game. Like if you do really good at clicking the points at the right time, you get better damage and stats for your weapons. So it's like just nonstop. I highly recommend it if you're a tactical turn-based fan.
It seems really up my alley. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think they recently added co-op to it too.
Did they?
They what?
That's exciting. Recently added co-op, he said.
That's hardcore. And then the last one that I wanted to bring up again is Hell Let Loose. They recently had a free weekend this past weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to play that with you.
Well, I didn't play it this weekend. I ended up playing it like 1 or 2 nights ago. Ended up having a real busy weekend. A whole bunch of work parties and stuff like that. But
I was so busy at work parties.
So I was busy getting
Also
drunk.
a raid.
Oh yeah, and a raid. Wait, we raided? Yeah, we did. That's right. Listen, man, it's like the past 4 weeks has just been buck wild. All right, I've been to like 4 different states, 5 different states. Nuts. But Hell Let Loose. So, I'm not gonna go over all the stuff on Hell Let Loose. It's 50 on 50. Very Battlefield squad-esque game. But since the free weekend, it seems to have sucked in a which is really good for the developers. Seems like they made a really good sales pitch with this free weekend because there are a lot of new people playing it. And I've gone from being like the guy who's like, I have no idea what I'm doing to being like the grizzled veteran on the team. And it's just like fucked up. I really just wanted to tell this one experience that I had where there was all these new players on my squad. Even the squad leader didn't even know what was going on. And so I'm just in there. I didn't want to be like the armchair sergeant, just being like, oh, this is what we should do. We should do this. We should do that. Oh, this is how you do that. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It was just kind of letting everyone do their own thing. I was just a medic. But like all these people were just getting so into it. And I think that's the key to like Hell Let Loose is getting yourself into that mindset of just being like, it's not about kills. It's really just about the experience. Like just the experience of playing the game, getting into a like totally crazy situation with all the good sound design and coming out alive. But the biggest thing was that our machine gunner was a gentleman by the name of Donald Trump.
I feel like I've heard of this guy.
Yeah, so the entire time he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna do all that. And every time we're like taking over a point, it's like, Donnie, you gonna make this point great again? You know, all that stuff. A lot of really bad jokes about Donnie, but also like teaching all these people and then literally seeing them grow over the span of a 2-hour match was also a really neat thing to see, where it's like most people, when it comes to these kind of complex kind of games where there's lots of different systems, most people get their experience either through YouTube, watching YouTube videos of professionals that have like, you know, thousands of hours in the video game, and they're like, yeah, this is what they always do. They always have foreign accents, but that's cool. But just being able to say, yeah, oh yeah, like do this. Just like telling the squad leader, being like, it really helps when you mark on the map where you want us to go and what you want us to do. And it's like, okay. So, really like to get a good squad together. I'd love to get like 2 squads together. Either that or a squad and a tank crew. Then we can be
Tank crew.
I'm already sold on you teaching me how to play this game. Like I was so hoping that I would be able to play with you during the free weekend, because I want to pick it up, but I need to learn. I need somebody to be like, all right, dumbass, this is how you do it. I need that.
There is no way of doing it. Like just being in a squad, unless you're a squad leader, the way of doing it is just like, if you see a field, don't run through it, because you're just gonna get shot.
Just like in real life.
What if you crawl across the field?
I mean, you can. That works. Takes a fucking minute, but
I mean, yeah.
Done that. Been there, done that. So Hell Let Loose, highly recommend it if you want to have a cinematic video game experience that's solely multiplayer.
Okay. Let's move on and talk a little bit about some things in the game section, starting off with a game that multiple people from this group played. One of our group games, I guess not group games, but grouping of a game together because multiple people played and want to discuss. That's Stray.
Do we have that trademarked?
We do. Grouping of
Smart.
games together. All G's.
Yeah. 3 G's.
Love it.
Together.
Yeah, right.
GGGG.
G-O-G-G. Grouping
I
of
got to be a
games
cat.
together.
Did anyone else enjoy being a cat? Because I loved being a cat. That game was fucking awesome.
Stray's good. Stray's a
Yeah.
good game.
I enjoyed it pretty well. Very much.
I'm sorry.
I was
Wait,
worried. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just for the record, Alex and I agree with each other that there is a good game.
I was
never
worried
happens.
when I saw trailers for this that it was going to be basically just a stealth game, almost the entirety of it. But that is not the case, it turns out. It very much plays like just a normal like adventure style game,
Yeah.
I guess.
I was gonna say, is there even a stealth section?
There is.
There's a few
stealth
towards
section.
the end.
Yeah.
You
don't-
avoid like the drones.
Oh, when
It
you're
seems
with
very,
drones,
like,
right.
Journey.
I forgot about that.
It is.
Journey
I would
or,
agree it's very like that style Journey or
Abzu, something like that.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Where you're just kind of finding your way through the game, solving some people's issues along the way.
It's got some elements of traditional adventure, like point and click adventure games, where you're like talking to a bunch of people and collecting items, and then showing the item to every person to see what they do about it.
It
To
doesn't
find,
run
like,
into
the
the point and
person-
click where you have no idea what you're supposed to do with the item.
Yeah, for the most part, you have
never
a good
an
idea.
issue. Yeah.
And then like the bulk of the game is just moving around like a cat. It's like I've got a really good movement system.
Mm-hmm.
Meowing at people.
I loved meowing at people. I loved
Is there
that there
a
was
meow button?
There's
a
a
meow
dedicated meow
You can-
button.
Nice.
You can use it during cutscenes.
Yep.
Nice.
It's excellent.
Okay, that's actually pretty
Okay,
good.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that you could use
yeah.
it during cutscenes, and now I'm sad I never did that.
Somebody
Yeah.
already
kinda
made
like-
it into the Jason mod. Made a Jason mod for it.
Ah, yes.
Oh, you could just say Jason over and over.
Oh
Man,
no.
I didn't actually know anyone but me had played Heavy.
I
Yeah.
haven't
Maybe that's
played
just
it, but
a
I know the
meme
meme.
now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
I've
There
played
it
Heavy Rain
is.
though.
Okay, nice.
Jason.
Jason.
It's like the best part of that
Jason.
game. Fucking stupid.
Jason.
The real low.
It's got like really really cool environments. I think
Yeah.
the
I was
world
very impressed with them. Yeah.
and the world building is pretty good.
It's a
Environmental
cyberpunk
storytelling.
world, right?
It's kind of like
Yeah.
post cyberpunk. I would
Yeah.
say
Blade Runner-ish.
No.
it's because it's like after all the humans are
More
gone.
apocalyptic. Yeah.
It's cyberpunk, but like after the end of everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
good
it's
description.
just robots like living out their lives because they don't know what to do anymore because the humans are all gone.
Mm-hmm. It's a good companion story. You got a little guy who follows along with you and interacts with you a bunch, and the story's pretty decent throughout. Pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, it seems like you went back and like actually collected additional stuff after finishing it.
There's a good and a bad to that. I'm trying to get all the achievements for it because most of them don't seem that bad.
Oh. Hmm.
But there's one hidden
I see.
achievement that is so obnoxious and irritating. I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay, is it as obnoxious
What is
as the
it?
one where you
Yeah.
have to go to every city and play the level in that city?
Well, it's not that obnoxious.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
worse than that.
I don't know.
There's a sequence early in the game where it's almost a chase sequence where you're running from a bunch of enemies that are trying to leap at you and grab you. And there's a hidden achievement for getting all the way through that without being grabbed by a single one.
Oh.
And there's so much RNG to how they move and how they jump when they jump that it is
I'll get it
just
first
so
try.
frustrating. I've been trying it for like 2 hours already.
Wow.
You can speed
Sounds-
run the game in an hour and a half, and I've been for 2 hours trying to beat this one achievement on it.
I was about to say, isn't there a speedrun achievement?
Yeah,
Mhm.
which I did
I got
that
it.
one. You can beat the game in like an hour and a half. Which
Wow,
is actually
good
pretty
job.
easy.
I don't know why it gave it to me because I definitely my run lasted 5 hours or something, but because for some reason like I redid one of the levels to find the collectibles that I missed, and it for some reason restarted my timing from that point.
Oh wow!
So then I only had like one other thing to do after that, and I was speedrunning through that level because I already beat it. That's why I went back, and so I was like, "Oh, this is weird. Thanks, I guess."
Ridiculous.
Lucky man.
Yeah,
That one achievement, God, is so annoying. All the
Oh,
other
yeah.
ones are reasonable, but this one
RNG
achievement
is never fun to be
Yeah.
part of your like achievement getting.
right? There's basically no strategy. Your strategy is you zigzag a bunch, and you hope nothing lands on you.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
pray.
And so far, I have not succeeded.
Weird.
Really annoying.
How do you not?
But the game is
Like,
good. Game's
Steam's
fun.
not showing me you have the die 9 times achievement.
I don't have that one.
It's because he's fucking good, dude.
I
Ow.
wanted that to be the last achievement I got.
Oh, wow.
So every time one grabs me, I just restart the checkpoint.
Okay. Wow.
I don't
Okay.
let them kill me.
Wow.
You're so ridiculous.
That's
That
messed
achievement's
up.
really easy. That die 9 times, easiest achievement in the game. Come on.
You should have just
Pretty
left
hard.
it
I
at,
didn't get it.
I just have never died.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep trying. I'm too good.
You can die in that game.
I mean, I
didn't
didn't
get
die
that
9 times before the end of the game twice.
It's
so-
hard to die in that game, but I think you can. Yeah.
Well, I hope you can. Otherwise, that achievement sucks.
You're like, come on, kill me.
Your
Take
10th
me!
death, you just don't come back. That's it.
Right?
Yeah, it uninstalls the game. That's it.
Ooh.
I love that. That's great.
Would be funny.
Easily doable. Because I didn't even get the achievement, so.
Okay, let's turn our attention real quick to Ubisoft.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Do we have to, though?
3.3% shares falling.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, dude.
Ubisoft.
So I know we talked a little bit about the. It's weird. I feel like the biggest story was Roller Champions, even though that's like the smallest game that I've heard Ubisoft things about. Basically, for anyone who doesn't know, Roller Champions is a game we've actually talked about on this cast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like a little roller derby game, which are hot right now for some reason. But the rumor was Ubisoft was going to pull the plug on it, and then Ubisoft was like, no. So, like, they probably will. But officially, no.
Officially, no.
But not only that, they canceled a bunch of other games. They had Ghost Recon Frontline, which was a battle royale, which is really a shame because I feel like they really had a chance to jump in while the iron was like ice cold on the battle royale. You know what I mean? Like everyone already has 5 battle royales out, so
Wow.
good job there.
They already had a battle royale too.
Yeah,
So
look,
what?
I don't know, man. It's
Really?
not happening.
They really want this
So-
VR thing to succeed at their company, huh?
I think at this point they might want anything to succeed at their company.
Fair point.
Got them. Take that,
No, he's got
Ubisoft.
a point
Dang.
there, for sure.
They
Damn.
canceled Splinter Cell VR, which I don't know.
Were people interested in that game?
I don't know.
Probably.
I didn't
Sounds
know
cool.
that
I
was going
would,
to be a thing.
Yeah, I
I would
didn't
love
either.
to be Michael Ironside from a first-person perspective.
There's a fairly large group of people that have been like, where's the next Splinter Cell at?
Listen,
What the heck?
guys. Listen, guys. It's not Assassin's Creed. It's not multiplayer. Get it out of here. Ubisoft don't want it.
This game was
Uh,
not made by a multicultural team.
I think this is the one I think people are going to be most upset about. Their Avatar game got delayed.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so-
When you
Wait,
say
which
when
when you
which
say-
one?
Oh, the good one. You know, the blue people.
The blue people one.
Oh,
Yeah.
the blue people.
Mhm. So
The
if
one
you were
everyone cares
hoping,
about.
yeah, if you were hoping to play the game when the next movie came out, that everyone's going to see because it's going to be so good,
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to play the game yet because they delayed it.
Okay. It's also
When did that-
important to note that the delay is not like, a normal delay. It was supposed to come out this year, and they're like
Mhm.
2023 or
Or
2024.
24. Yeah.
And they
Not
got
sure.
a quote from the CEO, and he's like, well, we want to make Avatar a video game industry brand. It's important for us that we come with something that's perfect. Okay, guy. All
Good
right.
one.
Sure.
Avatar Battle Royale. Let's do it.
Just merge
Honestly,
the two.
that would be a good setting.
I mean,
Would
it'd
it?
be something. Maybe that's why they canceled Ghost Recon Frontline. It's just
Yeah.
going to be on Pandora.
I think they could do Avatar, but it's an Ark clone.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Okay.
already
It's
an
just
Ark Battle
blue
Royale.
people walking around on an island, and then they just randomly poop.
There was that
They
Ark
should-
Battle Royale that I played like maybe 12 rounds of, never
Oh,
figured
yeah.
out the concept of it, and then gave up.
That was a neat concept, but then there was like, you have to do this progression, otherwise you lose,
Yeah.
sort of situation.
If you
What?
wasted any actions per minute, then you were dead.
It was like everybody started at the central disc, and then everybody jumped off onto this island, and you played Ark and tried to survive. So like you had to go rush as fast as possible to pick up a rock and start hitting trees to make a spear,
Jesus.
and then
It is weird. It is definitely
weird.
weird. That's
Yeah.
a weird game.
Kind of sounds like Rust.
yeah.
Rust. But if it was like way shorter,
Uh-huh.
Oh God,
like
Man.
a battle royale length round.
how
We
many
have
Russians
played-
were there?
We have
So
played
many.
so many different battle royale games. It's ridiculous.
I think I blocked that one out of my mind until just now. So
Well, that reminded me of. Do you remember the culling?
I
I
played
try not
Culling.
to.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
played the shit out of that.
People enjoyed that game, and that was probably the worst VR to ever hit the shelves. Radical Heights was better than that.
I just
Wow.
loved setting up all of like
Radical
the
Heights,
wire
huh?
traps and then people just running straight through them and getting killed, and I was like, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Radical Heights.
SOS was better than the Culling. Okay.
Speaking of delays,
Radical
talk
Heights
about-
killed Boss Key Productions.
let's talk about the KOTOR remake.
How bad it was.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's indefinite delay.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad.
I mean, yeah.
Let me tell you,
Let it die.
the very first thing I thought of when I read this was somebody found out Owen was streaming this game, and they wanted to spare the world from him doing it again.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh!
What's wrong
That's so mean.
with you?
That is
my
so-
God.
And then I was like,
That is
that,
so
that joke's
up.
too mean to put in the Discord, so I just didn't.
Yeah,
So,
so,
then
you
you
just
say
put
it
them
on the
blast.
podcast.
Yeah.
I don't
Wait,
know.
what?
It felt right. It felt right now.
Yes.
Live.
It felt right now.
Damn.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, I mean, I know I only have Tim watching, but fucking hell, that's a burn. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people that are bummed about it, and I would love to see KOTOR at least modernized to make the graphics less of a headache to watch and the gameplay a lot smoother and less kind of blocky and very buggy as it currently is on the replays that I've been doing.
I think they need to Mass Effect 1 it, where they like update the gameplay a little bit.
I mean, yeah, they're
They
definitely
can't just remake it.
yeah, they need to redo a lot of the gameplay, in my opinion, because like it's really bad when you're like, okay, here's all of these cool abilities, and then half the time your AIs know to use the cool abilities, and then the other half of the time they're just doing like basic fire or basic stabbing, and I'm like, why did I get you all of these cool abilities if you're not gonna use them at least a little bit? So yeah, I think that they definitely need to kind of go through that and update that, and like, you know, make sure that things aren't still in a square aspect ratio. It's like there's just a couple of things that need to be kind of touched up so people can go back and enjoy it, I think. So I'd like to see that, but also I don't know, like the at least all the articles that I read were saying how it was just the current developers are indefinitely not doing it, and they said that their parent company might, or they might outsource it to somebody else.
China.
Like there is still possibilities that it's going to happen. It's just that they themselves were no longer going to work on it because apparently the demo that they made sucked and nobody liked it. Which, I mean, that's unfortunate.
That's probably a bad
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
Not
Like,
great.
that's not great that you guys did that bad of a thing, but also, you know, there are other people that apparently have been already tapped to work on this, so I'm sure they will pick up the pace and they will do fine.
This one's gonna tank.
I hope so.
I hope
So
so.
that was
yeah.
a monotone fine. Okay.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
I'd like to
And there
play
was
a
no
remaster of
Psy
that.
there. That was.
It doesn't seem like this should be a tough nut to crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's games like this already, like recent ones. You already have the script. Like, just put the pieces together. I gave you all the
Right.
clues.
No, the pieces don't even need to be put together. They're there. You
They're
just
already
gotta kind of
together.
you just need to file them a
Glance
little
at
bit.
him, yeah.
And like you just need to work them a little bit to make them fit just a little bit more nicer together. Which means that if that's the case, we're never gonna actually get a new unique property in the Star Wars universe that has similar gameplay to KOTOR. Which is something that I would much rather see than a remake.
Yeah.
Unless they're just trying to,
Sure.
cut their teeth on this remake to try and understand the concepts, and then be like, all right, let's get someone with like solid writing in here. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna make this new thing. That's probably not going to be the case, but I would love to play some, like, I don't know, Knights of like the New Republic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be
There's
pretty solid.
there's so many slam dunk Star Wars games that they could do easily, and somehow they did 2 Battlefronts, and I don't know.
Not 1, 2 Battlefronts.
Honestly,
I don't-
I'm just glad we're actually getting a sequel because hang on, before I say this, they're making a sequel to Fallen Jedi Time,
Yeah,
right?
Fallen
Yeah.
Order.
Yeah.
Fallen Jedi
Okay.
time.
Oh, it's got a very bad title in my defense, but that game was actually fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
good game.
That was a good game, and they even showed the trailer for the sequel that they're building on it. So
There's
Star
things
Wars
in a
Jedi
tank.
I don't see
Survivor.
that yet.
Yeah, there's things in a tank. It's a very big kind of Star Wars thing lately. Lots of
I mean, we talk about
creatures in tanks.
1313 pretty often. Actually,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was watching Clone Wars, and they would go to 1312 and they go to 1315 in one episode, and I was like, what the heck?
Yep. I know exactly
Where's
that
13, 13
episode
at?
because I kept waiting for it. I kept like waiting for them to be like, and here you go.
But yeah, I mean, there was the Visceral one that got canceled because they closed that studio.
Amy Hennig got screwed.
Okay, one last thing in games before we hop out, which is Nier Automata.
You
Caleb,
mean
have you seen the
Automata?
stuff that's whatever? Sure,
Yeah,
Automata.
Automata.
I think I've seen what you're talking about.
I saw,
Okay.
yeah.
People are
Gotta be
freaking losing their minds, dude.
Yeah.
Is it the door?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
door.
What's the
I don't know,
door?
it seems
Apparently, they're in
pretty
what's it
fake.
called? Copied City? Is that what the area is called in the game?
Yeah.
There's
it's
a
like
door.
White City.
That somebody recorded from their freaking phone of them playing the game and walking through a secret door, finding a secret boss, opening a chest at this point of some sorts. And people are just losing their mind because, of course, it's like
There's like a whole cutscene in there.
it's like the people who go on Reddit and they're like, "Hey, look what I found underneath my floorboards in this back closet of this house that I bought that was built in 1837. It's a safe." And then they never ever come back. They just drop and leave. That's it.
People are speculating that it was the dev who made it was pissed that nobody found it, and so they finally just released it.
Yeah.
I think they said like a while back, they said there's still one secret that nobody had found.
Yeah, but I thought the dev in that point had posted had tweeted like 3 years, 10 months, some amount of days, meaning that's how long it had been when they finally found the last secret. And that's been a while.
Yeah, I thought they had found one around the same time that all happened.
Mm-hmm.
But this, the guy dropped the video of it, and then no one has been able to replicate it.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. Seems a little sus.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Was it just
it
fake?
reminds me.
Yeah, I mean, it feels fake.
Aaron, did you ever watch Jacob Geller's video about finding the last secret of Shadow of the
Yes.
Colossus?
Yeah,
That's
I
what
watched
this
that one
sounds
too.
like a little bit. It's just like it feels like something where people are like, "There's got to be something." I mean, it's a little different because someone did post something and was like, "No, there's definitely something."
Yeah. No,
But-
actually, if you watch any Jacob Geller videos, that one is phenomenal.
It is. It's actually one of the first ones. I didn't know who he was when I watched it, and I was like, "Wow, that was really good."
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's incredible. I love his stuff. God, we talk about him like every podcast.
We really
He's
do.
That
so
one-
good.
Wasn't
I
it
love
that
him
there actually was no secret in that one? Not the outcome?
His thing
as
is
far as they can tell.
his thing is that people have just like they've spent so long making a community of people trying to find the secret that is the last secret of the game. That
The real secret is the friends they made. along the
yeah,
way.
that
Well,
kind
I
of, like
thought-
that's the kind
I
of
thought in the
idea
remake
behind what
they
he's
like
saying.
put something there as like a homage to the people trying to find it for so long.
That does. I haven't watched that video in a long time, but that does ring a bell.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, no, I secret hunters and people who like glitch hunt for speedrunning, craziest people in the universe.
They are. They
Do
are.
that.
All right. Couple things in news realm. First of all.
First of
the
all.
Pokemon.
First of all,
First of all.
First of all.
Pokemon Boost.
Got a first them all.
Yeah, so they just announced this morning, and I thought this was actually like a really neat and fun thing.
Feels
So
like that one.
the Pokemon TCG is putting out basically a bag of like small boosters of the card game, but not like like your normal size, like probably like limited like 4 or 5 cards to give out on Halloween. So it's supposed to be kind of like a Halloween thing of just being like, hey, you know, like, yeah, you can do candies and stuff, but also here's this thing, which on the one hand, fuck you for not giving me candy, that's why I'm here. But on the other hand, I think is incredibly genius of a way of being like, hey, here's a thing, here's our product. You know, we're giving it's apparently like seeded to have like Ghastlies and Haunters, and so there's gonna be like ghosts or Pokemon, or like like Pokemon with like in Halloween costumes and stuff like that. And so I was like, this feels like they took an idea from Pokemon Go of like a Halloween event, and then they monetized it and put it into like a thing to give out. And I was like, I like this. Honestly speaking, I thought this was such a neat idea to do something different. And if I actually like had trick-or-treaters or cared, this would be something that I feel like I would do, of like buy a bag of this and put it in a bowl and just be like, here, you know, like grab your Pokemon cards. Like, I just feel like that's like such a neat and fun idea to do something a little different, but still something that I feel like kids would probably enjoy.
Look, I know you would be upset about the lack of candy, but personally, if I were to go trick-or-treating, like looking back, I would have been way better off if I'd have gotten Pokemon cards versus candy. I would have spent way less on my dental bills over the past like 25 years.
You'd have been pissed though. You were never into Pokemon ever.
That's the problem, right?
I might have been into Pokemon at that point though. You know what I mean?
What are
like,
these devil's creatures? Give me Hershey bar, you bastard.
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah.
I mean, that's really the problem, right? Is you buy this thing of Pokemon cards, and then like little Timmy down the street, you know, he doesn't play Pokemon. He doesn't give a shit about this. Everyone likes candy.
Well,
though.
no, I can guarantee you, we're gonna get to the end of this whole thing, which, you know, it's a great, you know, like marketing campaign. It's also a good thing to the healthy thing, giving kids like something that they can deal with. But at the end of this, we are gonna get the news story where it's like child chokes on Pokemon cards.
Cards.
No.
assuming it's candy.
Because they're like, oh, it's candy, and I'm like, well, then that kid should have died.
Yeah, I liked the marketing for it is trick or trade, and I was like, oh man, you know that there are going to be some fights of just being like, yo, I'll give you 4 Hershey bars and a Reese for that Charizard.
Hell no.
Like, you know that's going down.
Listen, I used to dominate the playground with my Pokemon cards, but let me tell you something. I only dealt within that game. It was like playing. It was like playing the stock market. It's all isolated within itself.
We did Beyblades when I was a kid.
Oh my god.
We hit some.
Beyblade? What?
You're like the only group I've ever heard of using Beyblade.
Yo,
Yeah,
we hit the Beyblades.
in real
There'd be
life.
like one kid that would bring like the arena. Everybody had their own Beyblade.
Oh yeah.
Be like in the gym in the corner,
Pink
Dude,
slip it.
letting it rip.
Yo, I
if you
win.
will.
I take your
Did
Beyblade.
you do the song every time you did it? Beyblade, Beyblade, let it rip.
Yeah.
That's all I know about Beyblades.
There's just like one kid in the corner going, it's Beyblades!
I wonder, like, whatever happened to Digimon?
Actually, just
I
had a
wasn't into
very
Digimon.
successful like game that just came out.
Can't
All
be
I know
that
is that
successful.
Digimon, digital
Yeah.
monsters, Digimon are the champions. That's all I know.
Digital monsters.
I had that one kid that like turned into an angel.
That wasn't a kid. It was a Digimon.
Okay, it was that one
That does make
tiny
sense.
kid's Digimon that turned into an angel.
Digimon was fucked up.
You mean
Would be weird if a
Angelmon?
kid turned into.
Angel Mon.
That's a
Of course
good
they
name.
call it
I think that's
Angelmon.
actually literally it. It is
I
actually
believe you.
Angelmon. Oh my gosh.
Just shot in
Yeah,
the dark.
Digimon's
bad.
so stupid.
Yeah, Digimon was really fucking stupid.
Oh, he turns into an angel. What do we call him?
Angel.
Angelmon.
I really liked. Did anybody watch? I know we're going on a sequitur here, but like, did anybody watch the Mega Man cartoon show? Not the one from like the 80s, but the one where
Also
it was
no.
all digital, where they had the chips that they
No.
would like slot into their little RC car remotes. They released
No
a whole
idea what
bunch
you're
of
talking
Game
about.
Boy Advance games. They were actually like wicked tight. Man,
Yeah,
can't
I was
remember
gonna
what it's
say I
called.
know the game. I know of this because of the Game Boy Advance games, like of playing those.
Yeah.
Man,
But it was one of those things where, like, you see Pokemon. It was actually, it was the exact same feeling of like watching Pokemon and being like, "Wow, why can't my Pikachu do that?" Instead of just like sitting in a menu and then it just goes like, "Ugh," and then like thunder comes down from the sky, being like, "Well, that was lame."
I'm having so many like memories come up about Digimon now. I think I was like really into Digimon as a kid, and
Yeah,
I
I
thought
bet
it
you
was
were.
like the thinking man's Pokemon because the Digimon spoke
Of course,
instead of
you
just
thought
saying
it
their
was the
name.
thinking man's
The
Pokemon.
Renaissance of Digimon.
The
Freaking A.
Digimon were better because they could actually talk instead of just saying their name over and over again. And I was like, man, this is so much better than that
See,
lame Pokemon.
that's the reason why
Got 'em.
Pokemon shows started to go downhill, because they started just phoning in the Pokemon names.
Yeah.
There's a Pokemon just called Pinecone, and he's a pine cone, and he just hops up and down. He's like Pinecone. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? A man got paid money to do this?
They got like so many generations now, dude. So there's only so many
There's-
Pokemon they can think of.
I
know,
just-
there's like an ice cream cone Pokemon. What the
Here's
fuck
the
is that?
thing: you realize Gen 1 had a Pokemon that was just some eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that was
Or
one of the first ones they
Polygon.
come up with, and another one was just a Pokeball but bigger.
What you got
Like-
against Electro?
There's two of
I'm
those.
just saying, like, yeah,
Electrode
the new
and
ones are dumb,
Voltorb.
but they were dumb before too.
hmm
Like it's not like they got
I-
hugely worse.
Yeah,
like-
but those aren't
like-
my Pokemon, okay?
Yeah,
Oh
nobody-
The ones that came
gosh.
after me are worse.
That's true. That's true.
Out.
Except for Mudkip. I like Mudkip.
We like
Last
Everybody
thing
likes
in the news.
Mudkip.
Last thing in the news, and Owen, every time you write acronyms, I never know what it is, so sometimes I'm just going to guess, like right now.
Yeah.
Plasma complement factor B was bought by the Cancer Genome Atlas program.
Oh.
Perfunctory.
Wow.
Yeah.
No. So, like the big Magic the Gathering news was that Channel Fireball, which is like the third biggest website that you could buy Magic the Gathering stuff on, was bought by TCG
second.
Player, which is the first. So they were like, "Hey, we're now just running everything. This is our house." So TCG Player is now like just going to become this mega card game conglomerate.
Heck yeah.
Which I was like, "Oh, that's insane," because that's like a lot of stuff, and it's also very weird because, like, at least with Channel Fireball, they were also hosting events. They were trying to do a lot of stuff of just being like, "Hey, let's host events," where TCG Player has not done anything like that, and so a lot of people in the Magic community are just like, "So are you guys gonna still like do all of these cool like conventions for Magic, or you just like taking the cards and running?" And they haven't said anything yet. So nobody knows, but it's just like this kind of big, huge thing of like basically some of the biggest names.
The answer's no.
Yeah.
Monopoly, bruh. Monopoly.
Yeah,
What
Consolidate
is-
and raise
yeah.
the prices,
Heck
baby.
yeah, dude.
Shareholders to pay.
Love Monopolies. So
Yeah,
good.
So it's crazy.
Hey,
What is TCG
Monopolies are
Player?
better
Is that
for
just
the Everman?
another card trading company?
Yeah, it's another card trading company, although TCG Player does a lot of different ones. They do Magic, Pokemon, Digimon,
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh, yep.
Yu-Gi-Oh was
they,
also big in my school.
they do a lot of like a
Cool.
lot of them, which is why they're so big. And like Channel Fireball is very specifically Magic. And they're being
Okay.
cut out from, so I guess they're just trying to double down on their Magic selling abilities. Like that was the thing that always was weird to me, was that they were already selling Magic cards. So I don't know why they needed
We need
to
more.
buy another company to do it again. Yeah, I was like, you're already doing it.
Because then they eliminate the competition.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah.
more of the eliminating the competitions move. So yeah, that was the
Somebody
kind of the
should
big
tell
thing.
Joe Biden about this. Have we done that yet?
Yeah,
He's
he probably
sleeping.
listens, so you could just tell
Yeah,
him. Now.
yeah, you know,
Break up these monopolies.
Uncle Joe.
Good old Joey.
All right.
Antitrust.
one thing in tabletop, and I know I'm going to regret this because it's freaking Pathfinder 2e, and that's all that Caleb can talk about. But let's talk about something about Pathfinder 2e.
Don,
Tell
you
me
gotta talk
about
about Pathfinder Second Edition. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's really freaking good.
The news is a book came out yesterday, a new source book called Dark Archives or Dark
Archives.
Archive.
Or Darkives.
Dark
Yeah,
Archives.
Dark
That's what
Archives.
Jake has been
Archives,
calling it.
good.
Mhm.
That includes 2 new playable classes, the Psychic and the Thaumaturge, and both seem really, really fun to play. They sound really fun to play.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
really excited about the new classes.
I'm really excited about both of them. I was kind of iffy. Psychic sounded a bit too much like Scion, and I fucking hate Scions. And then Thaumaturge just sounded weird, and like they are really weird, but in like a good way.
Yeah, I feel like the big thing is Psychic feels like what I wanted Witch to be, and
Yeah.
Thaumaturge feels like what I wanted. I lost it.
Cool.
It was a different class.
Same.
Investigator. What I wanted Investigator to kind of be.
So
Almost.
the way these work, why are you guys okay? We're just
Yeah.
loading our
Everybody's
cameras
being
now.
weird.
Sure.
What?
That throw you off track?
Yeah. Psychic. So the way Psychic works is they've got basically they can heighten their cantrips, their free spells, but give them a bunch of cool effects so they do extra damage. They make a lot of use of focus points,
Do they
which
do
is
meth?
something they do meth too.
Mhm.
But
Part of every
basically
character.
they get a lot from these points that come back every short rest.
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Nice.
quickest way to do it.
I like
Kinda
systems
like-
like that.
Hit dice, like Bard hit dice and fighters and stuff like that.
Short
Yeah,
rest
a
systems are
little
really
bit.
cool.
Yeah.
It seems like I don't know. Psychic seems like it'll make a really good blaster. Like it'll be
Yeah.
able to do a lot of blasting, which will be pretty cool. There's
Without
not
expending
really
like
been a class.
all of its resources every fight.
Yeah,
So anyway, I came in. I just started.
There you go.
blasting.
Thank
exactly.
you. It's like someone's got to do it.
I can't wait to stop playing really bad tabletop RPGs and start playing 2e.
I would like for you to try 2E sometime. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, have you not played it?
No, I have not.
Oh,
Never received
yeah,
an
nice.
invite.
We
so-
played it
Oh my god!
in the playtest when we were
We
at
played
like
the
your
playtest.
house.
Right.
It's very different from the playtest.
Oh my god! But
When we had Aaron on the laptop.
Heck yeah, it was my face on the laptop and you guys were playing in person.
Wait, was Aaron in that one where everyone died to a mummy?
No.
No.
No, shame. That one.
Shame.
The one I was in was when Alex ran down that
and got
like
eaten
hallway
alive
to the pile
by
of
bugs.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
centipedes. Yeah.
I
Was that
gotta
the 2E
explore the
playtest?
whole map.
Yeah. It sure
Huh.
was.
I gotta explore it.
I don't know about 2E now.
Yeah, of course you don't.
That was like I said, that was the playtest. It's a lot different now.
Thaumaturge is really weird. They basically get like cursed objects, kind of, and they can do weird things depending on the type of object they have. So, like, if you have a cursed book, you can use it to like learn more about your enemies, and sometimes just like random writing will show up in it to tell you cool stuff. There's like a wand that like just randomly gains magical charges, and you can use it to just like blast people. It's weird. My
There's a
favorite
mirror?
one is the
Yeah.
mirror. Yes, go for it.
No, you got it. You like
I got it.
Yeah.
I like the mirror so much. So it's like you use the mirror and you designate another spot where your reflection is, and whenever you do something, you choose which square you originate from. So
That's
like you
pretty
can
cool.
Yeah, you can flank an enemy with your reflection. And then they also get an ability where if one of them gets hit, at that time you can choose which one you were actually in. And and if you choose the one that got hit to be the reflection, it explodes and does damage to whoever hit you. It's fucking wacky as hell.
The mirror is awesome. It sounds so much fun.
That's really neat. Man, there's freaking cool classes in 2E, man.
Really
Yeah,
cool
dude.
classes in 2E.
1E and
They're-
Starfinder both suck. I don't know why we play any of that
Never said
garbage.
that. Never said that.
Gosh.
I say it every day.
All right. Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about, I don't know, Azeron Cyborg.
The future. So I found that in my in my age, my APMs and point-to-click accuracy, all this stuff, slowly starting to decrease. And so I hit up the internet and watched a couple things and saw this thing called the Azeron Cyborg pop up. I was looking at it, and it's a pretty neat little thing, little visual for you.
It looks terrifying.
So if we kind of rotate it up like that, you can see that there's like 28 some odd different combinations of buttons and whatnot. Nice little thumbstick, as well as a hat switch and some other ones out here.
Audio listeners, it looks like the hand that goes around your hand.
Yeah,
A robot
just
hand.
for people to
Reverse
hold. Like, if you
around
don't
your
get the
hand.
holding hand experience normally in life, you buy one of these to just
Yeah.
get the hand holding experience.
So it just kind of like, it sits very comfortably, like in a very natural position. And just being able to, the big thing that was hard for me was doing leans and stuff like that in games that had leans while also being able to move. WSD. The other advantage of this is that you can always have analog movement in a PC game, so you get the best of both worlds, where you have the mouse for your look and you have an analog input for movement, which also ties into input as well. So you can just kind of like crawl along a little bit, or you can move full speed. All of it is all ergonomically adjustable. This thing's covered in screws and whatnot, where you can move everything around. I also got a moniker that has my custom name
That's
on
cool.
it. You can also get all the parts, each and every part, in a separate color. It's all 3D printed. It's from a company out in Switzerland. So you do have to pay in euros to get it. So you have to figure out some ways to do that. It's got a decent amount of onboard memory, and also a whole bunch of very easy to use software. And the Discord that they have set up is also very helpful, because you can look up pretty much any game. So I looked up what they had recommended for Destiny, and I modified a few things, and I found it to be like really good. Having like all your menu options up on these buttons up here, where your finger isn't lying, but you can still just kind of like flick your finger up and you got it. I found it all to be really good. It was really difficult to use at first, but after using, I've been using it for about 2 months now, and it's pretty much natural at this point. Using a keyboard, it feels weird. So
it's really intimidating to
it's a little
swapping to it.
It is, but if you dedicate like one game, if you set one game and you set controls and you really hone it in, the biggest thing that I used with this was how I would set my control screen would just be what my fingers wanted to do when I wanted to do something. So being able to change that and not having to move your hand ever is helpful.
I feel like because you've moved to this and keyboards are feeling awkward, you need to move to like a Caracorder and just completely get rid of your keyboard, period. Because that's the
Ported
based on the
typing
same
is so
concept.
cool.
You just have your hands in one spot. You never really move anything. You're just kind of like slightly tapping buttons and keys without really moving anything.
Yep. I'd love to get into some stenography. Also on my bucket list, I would love to learn shorthand.
Oh man, my aunt can write in shorthand.
Oh
and
man,
it's the weirdest looking thing, man.
Yep.
I have no idea what it is.
Who are you? Where did you grow up?
I don't know. I think Alex has been infecting me. My aunt. my aunt.
There was a
Caracorder
guy.
light now.
There was a guy in the Hyperscape community who refused to use a keyboard because he said it hurt his hand always having to. However he used the keyboard, he didn't like it, and so what he did is he got whatever the Switch like Pro controller was, or like the Wii Pro controller, whatever that was for Nintendo, programmed it to his computer, used half of a controller, and still used a mouse for the other side for his right hand to aim and stuff.
Weird.
That's very weird.
Did he have like one button on his mouse programmed to crouch?
Probably, because that's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Heck yeah, guys. Where it's at. Y'all need to
Weird.
adapt. Just get crouch on the mouse, boys.
No.
Where you need it. Get that thumb working.
I have
That
crouch
works
on my
for
foot
melee.
pedal.
I do
Yeah,
have
I
crouch
have a button for
on my
melee,
mouse
too.
for Destiny.
What?
Yeah. Thank
Yep.
you, Frank.
Can we
Appreciate
end
you.
this podcast now so I
Okay,
can
but
throw
his
up?
mouse doesn't count because it has like 35 buttons on it.
Whoa,
Mine
my
just
mouse
has
has a
two.
lot of buttons too.
Well, 2 additional buttons.
There you go. Plenty of buttons. That's all you need, guys. Get your crouch on there. Get
What
your
are
melee
your
on
What are
there.
your two
Boom.
side buttons? It's crouch and melee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, at least you got melee.
Yeah, I got melee on there.
I mean, it's like the most used key for a Titan. I think I use
Melee.
it more than W key.
Oh my
On the
god.
W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than W key.
Yeah.
More than W.
That's
I had to go
how
back
I
to
move
the
around the
ant
map.
thing.
I just warp into punching people across the map. I'm just like, ah! I gotta get over there.
Exactly.
Ah!
Exactly.
And then that's it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We will be back again in 2 weeks to talk more about Frank's Azeron Cyborg and how it's going. With or without Frank. I don't know if Frank will be here, but we're going to talk about it one way or the other. Also about all the things we've been playing. Thanks again for joining us, and we will catch you next time. See ya.